Ding, good morning, beautiful people. Why is it so dark in here again? I'm basically just a floating head. Shouldn't be wearing black. Guys, at this time of year, would I be starting the day? Would I be starting the day? One of them just, oh, for fuck's sake. Would I be starting the day with anything else apart from the most beautiful fruit in the whole world, persimmon. These are not just any persimmon as well. Let me tell you about these persimmon. First of all, one thing I've realized about this fruit, even though it is just the most delicious thing on its own, is that with lime, and I've showed it to you with, again, persimmon doesn't need anything. I've showed it to you with tahini and salt as well. That's just like, that's a whole other level. But if you want something more simple and refreshing in the morning, trust me, lime with persimmon works even better than lime with watermelon. And for me to say that is obviously a huge statement. Can we also just zoom in on this massive, I don't know where this gash came from. I've told you before that I always wake up with injuries. And obviously it's not Jill. I don't know what I do to myself in the night, but yeah, soldier down. But yeah, these with lime, oh my. It's like you get that intense sweet burst and then a little bit of sourness too. The thing is as well, you're probably thinking, because I've got, hold on, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have said this before, but for me, when I start going with persimmon, there's just no stopping until I finish them all. I don't know. It's something about the sweetness that is just so impossible to stop eating. Even with the spritz of lime on top, they're just almost painfully sweet, but in the most beautiful way. So I have 9. I'm eating 9. Cheers. There we go. Although you can't really, oh, my head is in for once. There is just no better way to start the day. Cheers. One thing I didn't realize as well about this fruit is that it's actually, I hate to even mention the word calories because obviously I just don't care about them in general. I know some people do for like their sport or their physical goal, whatever. I always wonder that when I eat a meal of these, why I feel so full. Number one, it's probably because if I have 20, I'll eat 20, but so much more so than other fruits. And then I found out that even though it's a very watery fruit, it's a very energy dense fruit. I think it has the same amount of calories as banana. So yeah, it's a very filling, very satisfying. Anyways, I know you're all saying, shut up Miles, get onto the real food. So I'm gonna go munch and I'll see you in a bit. Guys, the weather is miserable. Kinda love it today though, because it's kind of one of those cozy ones where I just wanna stay inside and eat all day, which is kind of the point of this video. Giant chili. I am chopping up some veg to make a tofu scramble. I literally have not had tofu scramble since the last time I made it on camera, which was literally in the summer when I broke my foot, when I got addicted to it. I feel like I have to tell you about a new addiction in every single video. Guys, right now, cinnamon raisin bagels. I have no words. I mean, cinnamon raisin bagels. Guys, I'm not just talking in the morning with like some vegan cream cheese and some jam and some, I don't know what normal people do with these, but I love cinnamon raisin bagels with savory food. Trust me, it works. So yeah, making tofu scramble. When I make tofu scramble, I go all out with the spices. I use cumin, turmeric, cinnamon, coriander, sweet smoked paprika, garlic granules, gotta be in there too. I will say, and I think I've said this before, I don't understand people that make tofu scramble with the black salt in order to try and make it taste like egg. I don't want my tofu scramble tasting like egg. I actually love the taste of tofu, like even on its own, even plain, love it. So no black salt for me. Don't need my food to taste like eggs, but I mean, if you do, then you know, do you, but this way is perfect. turmeric, of course, cumin and coriander, smidge of garlic, and of course, cinnamon. While I'm waiting on my food, very impatiently, I'm gonna take my multivitamin. This is the one I take from Vivo Life. Like I always say, if you're eating a very varied, well-balanced diet, then you should be able to get everything you need from, you know, like the produce that you're eating, the whole foods that you're eating. But don't forget, like, most of the soil in today's world, like no matter how many fruits and veggies you eat, even if you eat as many as me, a lot of the soil is depleted. Yeah, and so for me, I personally choose just to have a backup. And this multi-nutrient literally is the best. It contains absolutely everything. So this is kind of like a backup and a checkup and making sure I get everything in my need kind of up. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. This one also has iodine, K2, D3, all the good things that you need, especially as a vegan. So 100% recommend this one. Link it down below. Just to prove to you that I'm not a fraud, cheers. I don't know why I felt the need to prove that to you, but there you go. One thing I love to do with these cinnamon raisin bagels, I know it's not the healthiest thing, but a little bit of coconut oil on them when they're hot, and it kind of just melts in. Just need a tiny bit, but it makes the biggest difference. Beautiful. That's a beautiful one too. And a little bit of sriracha. Tiny bit of heat. Just a smidge. Now we're talking. Guys, when I tell you that it is 3 p.m. and it is pitch black outside, I am once again just a floating head. But anyways, the smell from the spices of the scrambled tofu is just insane. And you're gonna have to trust me. Can we focus? Yes, we can. You're gonna have to trust me that the sweet cinnamon raisin bagels go perfectly with savory food, specifically tofu scramble. Try it. If you don't like it, then you will like it. You can't not like it because it's that good. It reminds me of, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. When I used to live in Florida when I was a kid, and I was out there training for tennis, and my breakfast every morning, for some reason, was a cinnamon, like before training, was granola, and then a cinnamon raisin bagel with scrambled eggs. And this kind of just reminds me of that. And I fucking love it. Anyways, I'm gonna go apply to face. You all know what's coming next. Guys, I found this almond and cacao butter in Planet Organic, which I like to call Plan Organ. Planet Organic, for those of you that don't know, is kind of like Whole Foods. That kind of bougie kind of place where they sell mangoes for like £7 each and people actually buy them. When I say people, I mean me. They also sell incredibly expensive nut butters, one of which we're reviewing today because it's a new one. The ingredients are roasted almonds, Criollo cacao nibs, coconut blossom, cacao butter. I mean, you all know how much I love almond butter, or at least you should if you've watched any of my videos. But almond, butter and chocolate, I'm very, very excited about this. It's also that perfect time of day where I really just need to indulge in a jar of nut butter. That's a bit sludgy. Texture is not that bad. In fact, when I say not that bad, for almond butter, that's actually very good. Anyways, cheers. Right, do you know what? That's really fucking delicious, but it's not sweet enough for what it's supposed to be. There's also no salt in it, so it's kind of neither here nor there. And it's also not that strong in chocolate. In fact, it's just, if I tasted this blindfolded, this could just be almond butter, like very roasted almond butter. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna waft this down, but it's not really what it says it is on the jar. So, it's really, you know, it is really fucking good though. This ginormous bowl of apples, they were all picked by Jill from the fields near us. And they are honestly the sweetest, most fragrant apples ever. I think that most of them are Royal Gala. This one is anyway. I'm gonna try and make something that I don't think I've ever made on camera before. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've made it in real life before either. I say real life as if what I show you on camera isn't real life. But you know what I mean. I'm gonna attempt to make my own homemade pesto. Basil walnut pesto. I'm not really following a recipe. I've seen people make similar things to this before, but you know what I'm like. When I make something, I kind of just don't really do measurements at first. Just play around with it. See if it's good. Usually it is. If you see this, like if this is posted, it means it worked. So yeah, I'm gonna whip up some deep green pesto for... I found this in, let me show you. This is the new vegan spinach ravioli from Waitrose. It's their new plant, is it Plant Kitchen? Plant Life range. M&S is Plant Kitchen, I believe. So yeah, it just says spinach ravioli with a spinach filling made with a pinch of nutmeg and sage. And so this already has a lot of flavor. When I bought this, I intended to just taste it how it is. Maybe a spritz of lemon juice, a bit of olive oil, but I also want to experiment with a deep green pesto as well, which is very simple to make. Only 5 ingredients, and this is what you'll need. So you will need some fresh lemons, some garlic. I'm probably gonna put about 3 or 4 cloves in because you know I love my garlic. Some raw walnuts. You could of course do this with pine nuts too, but I don't know. Love myself some walnuts. A little bit of nutritional yeast. I'm actually not a big fan of nutritional yeast at all, but I don't know, I feel like this does need a tiny bit of cheesy flavor, so just gonna use a smidge of this. Sea salt, of course, and some beautiful, majestic basil. I actually bought this basil plant specifically for this recipe, and I feel like I'm probably gonna put the whole thing in, so it was nice knowing you, plant, but you only lasted 1 day, and you better turn into the most delicious, beautiful green pesto of all time, or it's your fault. If this fails, I blame the plant. You will also need a blender. You don't need a high-speed blender or anything, any kind of blender will do. I also forgot you will need a little bit of olive oil for this. I am using this, I've never bought lemon-infused olive oil before. Usually I go for garlic-infused or basil-infused. But, I don't know, I feel like this is going to make it nice and zingy, and I mean there's already a lot of fresh lemon in there, but you know what I mean. Starting off with these beautiful buttery walnuts. I love myself a walnut. Couple handfuls of this fresh basil. Garlic. Limone. For once, I've got a nice big juicy lemon that isn't just 98% pips. Teeny weeny bit of nooch, don't overdo it with that. And a pinch of good coarse sea salt. More like a handful. Couple tablespoons lemon infused olive oil. It's like a full-on jar, looks like a green smoothie. Just gonna give this a little taste. Oh. Alright, no matter what I do, this can't go wrong now, because that sauce, I'll put the exact measurements that I use down below, but that sauce is, that's a 10 out of 10 pesto. In goes the beautiful green sauce. Would you look at that? Gonna add in a little bit of fresh rocket, just for extra greenness. And I don't know, you know I love rocket. Have it with everything. Arugula, sorry. Oh. Guys, that smell of basil. Woo! Would you look at that? The smell from this basil sauce, I cannot even explain. I also can't understand why it's so dark in here. I mean, it's dark outside, but not like, oh my god. Oh, like a ghost. The smell of this pesto alone is reason enough to make it, but the flavor. Right, I'm gonna taste the actual ravioli, which is now smothered in my amazing sauce, so it can't really be bad, but cheers. I actually don't have words, it's that good.